ready to take all those feelings out onto the golf course. We've got the mental side taken care of, so when you come out to warm up, that's just what you do. Warm up. Loosen the muscles up by swinging a couple of clubs. A couple of wedges is what I use. And the focus is on the ball flight and feeling the shots. You don't want to get involved in practicing. Don't come out before a round and have a bunch of new tips you're going to try out. Stick with the feelings that you've been working on when you've practiced earlier in the week. The focus is outward, not inward. Outward towards the hole. Now we're wanting to create those shots and play the shots when we go out onto the golf course. See the ball flight. Start with a wedge by just making some nice easy swings just to loosen up. All we're looking for is some tempo and feeling for the contact with the ball. Just back and through. We're really not concerned about target, but just simply swinging the club and feeling the club. Start with some wedges, and then you may want to just work on up through the odd number clubs. That's what I usually do when I practice before a tournament round. I'll then get into a 9-iron, feeling the swing, and I'm not really thinking about mechanics. Thinking about just tempo and overall motion. And then to my 7-iron. I'm really not concerned about my target either. Feeling the club, working on up to a 5-iron. This is all, the memory work has been done. Now I'm just feeling the swing and work all the way on up, and then play a couple of woods. Usually take a 3-wood. Don't be afraid to take practice swings. And then go through your routine. Face, body, waggle, and tempo. And then lastly, go to your driver. And with the driver, you might want to just imagine playing that first hole. In your mind, just see it out there. Play like you're on that first tee. Set the face, see it, feel it, and trust it. In fact, the good thing you can do is just play the first 2 holes on the golf course. On the tee, play the tee shot, see it, feel it, trust it. And then imagine, well, I've got a 5-iron for my second shot. And take your 5-iron out and imagine playing that hole to the green. Another good tip, and I did this when I was on tour a lot, is take the toughest hole on the golf course, maybe a hole that you're not really looking forward to playing normally, but play it on the tee over and over again. I had the privilege of playing, probably 11 or 12 Crosbys, and the one hole that always used to get me was that 16th hole at Cypress Point. 220 yards over the ocean, and I remember one year my partner was Clint Eastwood, and on the practice tee I stood up there before the round and I played that hole about a dozen times with my 3-wood, knowing that's the shot I was going to hit. Stood up and imagined that hole out there on the practice tee, and I went through my routine. Face, body, feel it, and swing. Hooked it right into the green. Then when I got out on the golf course, It was just as if I was on the practice tee. I set up, because I'd been there before, to the ball and swung the club right up to the green and put it about a foot from the hole. So you might want to try that to play the toughest hole on the course while you're warming up. After you've warmed up, hit some shots. Always conclude by taking a couple of wedge shots and finish your practice on the practice tee with some nice little tempo shots, because you know the wedge and the driver and the putter comprise 70% of the shots that you're going to play on the golf course. Then go over to the putting green, and if you can, chip a couple balls up onto the green, get a little feeling for the grass around the green. Go up on the green and putt some 30-footers to get a feel for the distance on the greens, and then go up and putt 4 or 5 1-footers in the cup and feel that, taking that ball out of there, that good feeling of bending over and picking the ball up, and then go to the first tee. And you'll be relaxed because you've already played that first hole on the golf course. Now, if you can't warm up, go to the first tee, and it's more important to stretch out with 2 clubs and warm up than it is to get up there cold. So stretch out. If you can't, hit some practice shots. And lastly, the most important time for you to really practice your game is after a round. If you've got the time, when you finish a round, take the time to think back on the golf course, the kind of shots that were giving you problems. Go to the practice tee and then make your practice profitable. And also, be sure to keep your notebook up to date on the shots you need to work on when you're out playing on the golf course.